I stopped saying I've got to wait for good things to happen to me, and I said I'm going to grind. I'm going to fight. I'm going to work. I'm going to press forward. I'm going to learn. I'm going to do everything in my power. Every single day, I'm going to do everything in my power to become a victor and not a victim.
I don't dance now, I make money move. Say I don't gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you now speak, that means I don't f with you. I'm a boss, you a worker, I make blood moves. I'm a boss, I'm a boss, I'm a boss.
I make it right, I make it right. I'm in this terror. Got a handful of stacks, better grab an umbrella. I make it right, I make it right. Make it rain on them, I make it right, I make it right. I make it rain on them, I make it right, I make it right. I make it rain on them, I make it.
So I'm here with Antoine Williams with 365 Sprints to assist us with helping with our movement to grow by giving us a platform with his website, with merch that will assist us in funding our educational and networking events for the Black EXP Network nationally and internationally. All right, so is it ready to go? I mean,
yes, sir. The site is live. The site is ready to go.
I were to go in there, I can
Black
start voting.
EXP. Yes, sir.
BlackEXP.com.
.com. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Right. So I see we have t-shirts. I see we have hoodies. Do you think we're going to have in the future coming maybe some caps, some cups, anything else?
Oh man, we're gonna have lanyards. We're gonna have hats, beanies, cups, coffee mugs. If you can think of it, we're gonna put Black EXP on it. Yes, sir.
Well, I love
Yes,
that.
sir.
So for those that are watching right now, if you have any ideas, man, apparently Antoine said he can get it on here. So
Absolutely.
we can do
Yes,
this.
sir.
So Antoine,
Absolutely.
thank you so much. We really appreciate you helping us with our cause and this movement for Black EXP. Thanks again, and look forward to working with you.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Juneteenth is more than a date. It's a declaration, a promise, a charge to build something lasting. This June, during National Home Ownership Month, we're claiming more than freedom. We're claiming legacy. The Black EXP Network's second annual Juneteenth Real Estate Summit isn't just another conference. It's a movement, a gathering of professionals, investors, and visionaries committed to shifting the narrative on Black wealth and home ownership. We're sharing strategies, building power, and unlocking doors, literally and generationally. If you're serious about leveling up, if you're ready to learn, connect, and be empowered, this is where you need to be. History brought us here. Ownership will carry us forward. Get in the room, bring someone with you, and let's build what they said we never could.
Here we go. Good day, everyone. Let's build something that they said that we can never build. That is a powerful statement right there, you guys. Are you in the house with me? Let me know where you guys are chiming in from. I want to see if we are spreading this wealth. Are we getting the word out of what we're doing here at Black EXP Network? We have, come on, Fort Lauderdale, Florida is in the house. We got Juneteenth coming up, and I want to see you guys there because MBA Realtor is going to be in the building. I will be there. Good day, good day. I see Maryland is in the building. We got Atlanta. I know you're going to be at Juneteenth. We're going to be right in your backyard. So make sure you are there. Tap in, you guys. California. I am so happy to see Cali on the map. That means we're hitting the West Coast, you guys. That means we are expanding here at Black EXP Network. I see Texas in the house. I see Florida. Okay, Florida. I got some PA in the house. Trinity, Florida. Very good. Very good. Thank you for tapping in. We got Florida in the house. Listen, you guys, I need you to spread the word. I'm so happy that we are in California now. That is like a phenomenal thing because for you guys, the time difference could be a little serious. And I'm so happy that you were here to share this time with us here at Black ESP Network. So how's everyone doing today? We are in the thick of real estate. It's June. This is the time where all of the money needs to be made, deals need to be happening and flowing all so seamlessly. Because listen, everybody wants to hurry up and buy. Everybody wants to get in the house in time for the school districts to get started with school and all of these things. So this is the time where you guys need to know exactly what to do and how to do it. It's also home ownership month. You're absolutely right. It is home ownership month, you guys. And you guys have seen we're having an event on Juneteenth, the 19th and the 20th. If you've got your tickets for Juneteenth, I want you to put Juneteenth in the chat. I will be there and I hope to see as many of you guys as I possibly can. Let's network, you guys. Let's collaborate. Let's really close this wealth gap that's out here because it's out here and we need to fix that, y'all. And it starts with us. It starts with us as a nucleus. And the more and more that we keep expanding and sharing the word with others, will make a difference, you guys, for sure. Oh, we got Las Vegas in the house. Thank you, Las Vegas. All right, I see some Juneteenth. Good day, good day. Thank you. Come on, you guys. I really hope if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, it is not too late. You could still buy your tickets and you could still get a block room. We have discounts for our hotels at the moment, but you better hurry up because I think that ends like tomorrow. So all right, we have our very own Michael Collier that's going to be coming up, but let's get a little bit into it, you guys. I want to know in the chat, can you tell me how many years have you guys been licensed? Put it in the chat, the number of years that you guys have been licensed. You know, being out here in these real estate streets, it's a I will say it's a little bit of a task, right? Of things that we need to do, how we need to do it. Did you say 24 years? Excuse me. That's super cool. 24 years. I see 36 years. I see 3 years. I see 16 years. And I'm pretty sure you've tried different techniques in order to be able to attract clients to you, right? And one of the techniques that we were taught probably in the beginning of our real estate career between door knocking and cold calling, right? So we're cold calling, we're going by scripts and different things like that. And, you know, sometimes that's not people's thing. You know, who wants to always have a script to say, do this, do that, do this? I mean, you have a structure, right, of what you're doing, but more importantly, clients don't want to be sold to, right? They want to know that you are for them, you have their best interest in mind, and they want to know who you are as a person, right? So we got to be personable instead of being very transactional. I see 1.5 years, I see 4 years, 5 years, 2 years. So we got a nice mixture of different people in this room, and I love to see it all. And listen, there's so much things to know and learn about real estate right now that it will just blow your mind. So telling stories could be one of the things that you do, right? Instead of just worrying about scripts and, you know, what should I say and what should I do next? It needs to flow. It needs to be a natural thing that your clients can resonate with you, right? I tell my clients certain, you know, stories and things like that. And they think we're family now, right? So I get invited to the cookouts. I get invited to the housewarmings. And listen, they also end up referring me to more people. So being very personable with your clients is top key. So I see we have 1.5 years. We got 5 years. We got not. Somebody's in here with 7 months. Oh, you're in the right place, sir. You are. Learning good habits, 7 months in the game, you're in the right place. I hope you are ready with your pens and papers because I'm going to bring up Mr. Michael Collier. Michael has been a phenomenal additive to our Black ESP network. Hey there, Michael. Michael is one of our founding fathers of Black EXP Network as well. And Michael is a multi-icon agent. How many numbers now, Michael? I can't keep up. How many numbers are you now?
I'm 3-time icon agent so far, but the 4th one is going to be this year.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So up next, is this real estate guru, Michael Collier. Michael leads the Michael Collier home team in Central Florida. He specializes in listings as well as new construction near Disney. That must be cool. With a strong background in fixing and flipping, buying and holding, and wholesaling, Michael has brought in a deep knowledge and strategy to the table. He's not going to just show you how to sell houses, he's going to show you how to sell a story to really resonate with your clients in order to sell that house. So, are you guys ready to hear what Michael has to say with what we need to do as far as selling stories instead of selling our scripts, right? So I want you to hit in the chat, go ahead and put for me story in the chat, and I'm going to let Michael take it away. Let's give him a big applause. We are so happy to have Michael here today with us at Tribe Training, and take it away, Michael.
All right, all right, all right. Somebody said, let's go in the chat. I appreciate that love. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Collier. As she said, I am out of Orlando, Florida, the Sunshine State. And I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, but I got down here in 2004. And, I thought I was only going to be down here for 6 months, and then I just never left. It got good to me. Now I've got a family. I'm a family man. I have my beautiful wife, Courtney, who I met in the 8th grade. Yes, in the 8th grade back in Atlanta. We have 2 beautiful children, Brooklyn and Bryson. Brooklyn is going to be 11 this month, and Bryson is going to be, he'll be 7 this year in just a couple months. So what's up, Elgin? What's going on, big dog? All right, so man, I'm excited. If y'all can't see, I got a smile on my face. I'm really excited to share with you guys something that I'm really passionate about, which is story selling, not storytelling. So many of us are just doing this wrong. I'm a firm believer that, the secret to standing out of this industry is not necessarily more marketing, but it's about more connection. And we have so many agents who are trying to do so much more to simply market themselves, whether they're buying leads, putting themselves out there, whatever it is. But it's not just about the leads and the cold calling and the door knocking and the open. Yeah, you can do all of that stuff, still do all of that stuff. But how are we converting not just the sale, but how are we converting the relationships? Because if you can convert the relationship and focus on that part, then you can obviously convert the sale as well. So let me get these slides up here. I don't even know how to do all that. B.E.N. All right. So this is an urgent warning for agents who want to win in this market. So somebody put win in the chat, because man, if you ain't here to win, what are you doing? And if you're not winning right now, this might save you. This might be the lifeline that you needed. So I believe that there are no coincidences in life. So if you are here for a reason and a purpose. And hopefully I'm going to be able to show you what that was all about. Okay. So yeah, we got some wins coming up in the chat. Put it in there. Hey, listen, I want full participation in this thing. So we're going to role play a little bit later too. But I want to help you to understand how to sell the story and win the client, but ultimately stand out in this sea of agents. And so here's the thing, y'all. Without belaboring the point, there is a big problem. The real reason why agents keep winning and others are stuck in this cycle of non-productivity, of man, I can't get anything going. Most agents, and maybe even you at times, make this exact same mistake. And you make, well, really one of 3 mistakes. One is you're selling yourself with stats instead of stories. You're coming in like, oh man, I'm a top producer, multi-million-dollar producer. I'm the #1 agent in my region, in my MLS, on my team, or at my broke, whatever. You're giving all of these stats. I got so many 5-star reviews. Maybe that's you. Okay. But the problem with that is that it doesn't make a stranger trust you. It doesn't relay trust. It kind of toots your horn. And I know it feels like we're relaying trust because they're like, oh, they can trust us if we have the stats to prove it. but there's more to it, and I'm going to help you to uncover that, because it doesn't make a stranger trust you with their most valuable asset all the time. I want to get you into more doors, but I also want to get you more listings at the same time, more clients. All right, here's the second problem. Most agents have their marketing sounding like everybody else's. I always say, if your marketing is talking to everybody, nobody's listening. You know, if you don't know who you're talking to and what problem you're actually solving, if you're just like saying, you know, you see agents posting on Facebook or Instagram, whatever your platform of choice is, you see agents saying all the time, man, you know, if you're looking at buying, if you're thinking about buying or selling or investing in a property, don't forget I'm a realtor. You know, contact me for all your real estate needs. Most agents don't really know what a real estate need is. And so they are marketing and saying the same things, trivial things that a lot of other agents are saying. And think about it. If everybody's saying the same thing, then nobody's listening. And then lastly, you may fall in this category. They don't really know how to create connection. You know, do I do this in person? Am I doing this online, on social media? What if I don't use social media like that? Do I only have to do this on social media? How do I do this? You know, and how do I get someone to be like, I trust you. I trust that you know what you're doing. That's where stories come in. So I want to teach you today how to use stories to connect with people more than the stats that you might have all throughout your buyer and seller presentation. I'm going to make y'all rip up that seller presentation that you have, that listing presentation that you've been using or haven't started using yet, and that buyer presentation that you have. We're going to rip that up. But here's the thing. I'm not going to tear y'all down, right? Because we all are learning and we can all be better. And so I even as I built this, I was learning some stuff. I'm like, man, this is really good stuff. So I'm going to show you guys something, but I'm also going to show you how to make the change. I'm going to show you what you should be focusing on and actually how to build it so that you know exactly what you should be building. Okay. All right. So here's why stories work. Ultimately, our brains are wired for narrative. Think about it. Have you ever watched, like, how many of you guys hate coming in on the middle of a movie? You can't stand coming in the middle of the movie, right? Even worse, the end of the movie. You don't know what happened in the beginning. You didn't see any of the character development, right? You don't know what, and don't you, or this is the worst. When you're watching a movie and then one of your friends or family members come in and be like, ooh, what's happening? Right? Who is that? Is that the dad or the brother? Oh, is she? And you're like, if you don't, you know what? How about you watch it on your own? That's what happens when we come in and we're like, I'm the number one agent in my office. I'm a 3-time icon agent. What are we doing? We're telling the end of the story. What about the beginning of the story? Right? See, stories bypass logic and hit emotion, where buying decisions actually happen. When you're talking stats, we're only talking about data. We're only talking to the logical side of the brain. But where the decisions are actually made, they're actually made in emotion. Think about it. Most people, like, does it make logical sense to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for a home and spend tens of thousands of dollars furnishing said home and getting close to your neighbors and allowing your kids to make friends, only to then uproot all of that and do it all over again when you go buy another house? Like, huh? And nobody likes moving. So it really doesn't make logical sense. Yeah, it may make some financial sense, but it doesn't necessarily make logical sense. But when you get down to the true reason, the true story behind why they're moving, it's a lot more than just the numbers. See, here's one of the stats that I love. People remember stories 22 times more than they remember facts. Kendra Hall wrote a book. It's called Stories That Stick. Anybody ever read that book? It's called Stories That Stick. A lot of this presentation was actually built with that in mind. Man, I'm listening to the story. I was listening to it on Audible. and I'm listening to the story, and like she's speaking my language. I love the power. Anybody love just a good storyteller? You know, have you ever been in the presence of somebody who just tells a really good story and you're like, man, you know, they have you on the edge of their seat. So one of the things that Kendra talked about is that there's 4 core stories that we all have to use, whether you're selling a product, a service, or simply yourself. And so the first one is the value story, right? The value story it tells the story of what makes you different. So rather than, hey, I'm number one, tell the story of how you helped a family find a home after 6 failed offers. See, it shows your values through action and not necessarily just a list of values. I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. What have you done? Now, and I'm also going to get to it because I know that some of you guys are like, well, what if I've only been in real estate for, you know, somebody said 7 months. Some of you guys probably a month, 2 months. Some of y'all been in the business for 17 years, 25 years, somebody said. And you're probably still not telling a lot of the stories that should be told, right? See, this story is about what makes you different. It's not just a tagline, but it's an actual story that shows your value. Like the listing I recently sold. I recently sold a listing that it just closed last week. They went through, it's a husband and wife couple. They went through 2 other realtors. They interviewed me 3 years ago. They decided not to hire me because I told them that they needed a new roof and there was a few other things that they needed. They're going to have to put some money into the property. They also wanted to price it at a certain price. I said, I don't believe that that's where it needs to be priced. I believe it should be priced here. They didn't hire me. That's okay. They hired somebody else. They put it on the market at the price that they wanted to put it on. They did not put that new roof on there. It didn't sell. They hired a second agent after putting the new roof on there and still going to the price that they wanted. That still didn't sell. And then they called me. And I told them, I'm glad you put the roof on there, but here's a few other things that you really need to do. And here's what I believe the price is. They still didn't believe me on the price. So what did I do? I brought in a third-party vendor. I brought in an appraiser. We got the house appraised. I still got them to, so that number that the appraisal came in was less than the number that they wanted to sell it at. I got them to sell to price it under the appraised value. Why? Because I wanted to be able to go on the market and say, priced under appraised value. Is that marketing? Yes or yes? Happy to report that in 6 days, not only did we have multiple offers, but we accepted an offer that was $30,000 above the price that we went on the market with. And the buyer guaranteed, it was a conventional loan, and the buyer wrote an addendum guaranteeing that they are willing to pay $30,000 above whatever the appraised value ends up being once their appraiser came through. And you know what the agent asked me? The agent that was representing the buyer said, I saw that it was on the market a few times and it didn't sell. And it was on the market for quite a while and it just never sold. Can you tell me what happened? I said, yeah, they didn't hire me. And she busted out laughing. She goes, yeah, I can see that. And like I said, we just closed, right? So that's a value story. That's what makes me different. I don't have to talk about me being a 3-time icon agent. The founder story. Why did you become a realtor? See, this is important. When I talk to a lot of agents, number one reason why most agents tell me that they became a realtor, because I like helping people. Or the other one is, I just wanted to become my own boss. But see, that doesn't really speak to, maybe that is your why. But I would tell you that if your why was because you wanted to become your own boss and you just simply like helping people, like, why didn't you become a doctor then? Okay, but whatever. But telling your why is like speaking to your calling, like the turning point that made you passionate about becoming a realtor. Was it that you were nobody in your family, your long lineage of ancestry, nobody that you know has ever owned a home, and you wanted to change that, not only for your family, but you wanted to change it for other families. So now you work with first-time home buyers, changing their legacy. That's a story. That builds authenticity and attracts aligned clients and agents. If you have any want or interest in agent attraction, you need to have this story too. This doesn't just work for clients. This works for whatever you are looking to attract, whether it's more clients or more agents or a little bit of both. All right. The third core story is the purpose story. What do you stand for? Now, this is different than the founder story. The founder story is why you got into it. The purpose is why you keep going. Who are you fighting for? My mentor used to say it like this. There's 2 questions that you need to ask yourself every morning when you wake up. Who do I want to help? And how do I want to help them? That's it. And so are you fighting for veterans? Are you passionate about fair housing, generational wealth? That's one of the buzzwords that we hear often, right? I'm talking about generational wealth. We, TikTok, everybody talking about generational wealth, all this kind of stuff. What does that really mean? What does it mean to you? And what does it mean for your clients that you're looking to help? Right? Showing a bigger mission gives you brand magnetism. Okay. And then lastly is the customer story. These are, again, all 4 stories that you have to begin using. Why? Because AI is about to eat your lunch. Artificial intelligence. See, I don't believe that artificial intelligence is going to replace the real estate agent, but it will replace the agent that's not using artificial intelligence. So you have to start storing these stories. You have to start telling these human stories that make you more human more often. The customer story lets your client become the hero, not you. This isn't about what you did and how you did it and who you are, big dog on campus, right? This is before and after testimonials. This is not just having a testimonial. Oh, what did you think about working with the Michael Collier home team? This is, what made you decide to make this move anyway? You moved here from out of state. You decided here. You decided to move here. You bought the house, and you got your kids in school. What made you decide that enough was enough, and you were ready to move into this next house? You were ready to buy your dream home. Let them tell you that story. Take photos with your clients. Some of you are just putting just closed, just listed, pending, under contract. Does that tell a story? Like, if I don't even show you the trailer for a movie, but all I do is show you the cover image, you're like, okay, what's that about? I mean, there's a lot of movies out there. There's a lot of homes being sold every day. And guess what? You see it too, because as you scroll on your feed, you're seeing the same thing. Everybody's posting the same stuff, right? Remember, the same marketing speaks to nobody. Just listed, just closed, pending. You have to start humanizing your business so you can start helping more people more often. So here's what the business as usual agent does. They talk about their awards. They send these canned drip emails expecting for there to be some reciprocity. Oh, I sent them something, so maybe they're going to reply. Hopefully they open it. Some of you guys are sending emails. You don't even know what the emails say. You just click and hope that they get sent. You're not checking to see if they get sent, right? They post their closings. That's good. Those of you guys out there posting your closing, at least you're posting something. And you show stats and graphs, right? But here's what the story selling agent does. This is where you are going to be. And if you're on this call right now, you're listening to this call, you're like, man, this is good stuff. This is exactly what I need to hear. And it's like when you're in church and the pastor's saying something good, you're like, oh, you know who needs to hear this message, right? Go ahead and tag whoever it is that needs to hear this message. Send them the link and tell them to come on in, friend. Okay? Tell them to come in here because they need to get this work. All right? Story selling agents. They tell why the work matters to them. They share the emotional success stories. They tell the journey of the buyer or the seller. And they show real life impact. So here's what's cool. Remember the testimonial that I talked about, getting those testimonial videos at your closings. Every closing that I have, if I'm there, because sometimes it's my teammate that might be there or something, but if I'm there, they already know that we're doing video. My clients, they already know we're doing video. It's a video testimonial every time, right? And I always ask the same, probably 3 or 4 questions, but I get them to share that story. Sometimes it's a tearful story, sometimes, it's emotional, But why do I want them to tell that story? So I can store that story and then share that story with my next prospective client. So how do you begin using this story framework? Okay. First of all, there's a few steps, 5 simple steps. You gotta use a hook. So it's just like any marketing. You know, you're going to ask that question. You're going to set the scene. Where were you when you decided that it was time for a change? What was going through your mind when you decided that I need to sell this house? You know, who was involved in making that decision? Right? Okay. So this is pulling the story out of your clients. Number 2, you got to get the struggle. What challenge were you facing when you made that decision? What challenge were you facing when you realized that your mortgage was becoming a little too heavy for you to continue doing by yourself? Quick story: I just recently helped a friend of mine's parent sell our house, and they didn't have a plan on selling this house. They only bought this house maybe 2 years ago. When I say they, I mean her and her husband. The unfortunate truth was that her husband passed away from cancer last year. They had no life insurance. The life insurance was tied up with the job that he had, but he got laid off from the job that he had because he ran out of FMLA because they couldn't continue because he was sick. So he had no more life insurance. And here she is struggling to pay a $3,000 mortgage, and she's never worked a day in her life. And so that changes things. That's a problem. And so I stepped in and helped. If we have time, I'll tell you how I ended up doing that for no commission at all. I actually ended up giving my full commission to actually make that sale happen because it wasn't about the money. That's not a good business model, so I don't recommend it. Don't do it, often. But if we get into a chance to tell you the full story, I'll be able to tell you that story. Okay. All right. The solution. So we know about the challenge that they had. We know the problem they had. But what changed? Think about that story that I told you about, the closing that I just had last week. They went through 2 other agents, right? Like I hooked you guys. I told you. I met with them 3 years ago on a listing appointment. I told them exactly what they needed to do. I told them exactly what they should price the house at. They didn't hire me. So what happened? They ended up hiring 2 other agents. But what happened? It didn't sell. What changed? They realized that they needed to sell this house, right? They needed to get this house sold. What was their solution? Call your boy. What was the result? Multiple offers in 6 days, all bidding each other up, ultimately receiving $30,000 above the asking price with a guarantee of $30,000 above the appraised value. And then the shift. See, I like this part. The shift is, what lesson did they learn? Or what lesson did you learn? Because remember, this isn't just about them. This is you. This is your story. What challenge were you facing? What problem are you facing right now? What needs to change? What result are you looking for? And then what lesson are you looking to learn? What lesson will you learn from that? If your business is 10 times better than it was, if your business by the end of this year is 10 times better than it was at the beginning of this year, what's the lesson in that? Maybe harder work, maybe smarter work, maybe not so much working harder, but smarter. See, once you structure stories this way, you can use them in conversations, consultations, in your DMs, like when you're talking to people on social media, because you're going to get more appointments and you're ultimately going to get more yeses. So let's put some of this stuff in action. All right, let's do kind of a live role play, if you will. Now, I'm going to play 2 versions of an agent answering this question. And this is a dreaded question that, especially if you're new, you're like, man, I hope I never get this question. Why should I hire you? Tell me why I should hire you. If I was to ask you this question, if I went through each of you 100 plus people on this call, and I asked you, hey, real quick, think about hiring an agent in your city, because I live in Orlando. I'm thinking about buying an investment property. Why should I hire you? Let's be honest. Most of y'all wouldn't know what to say. You're like, oh, I hate when people ask me this question. It's like, that's the only question I have. So the stat agent, the agent who likes to position themselves with stats and data, this is where most of our minds go. Most of our minds go to, well, I'm in the top 5% of agents in my area. I'm born and raised here. I've closed over 100 transactions in the last 2 years in my area. And I have 20 5-star reviews on Google. So, you know, I'm one of the top premier agents on Zillow. That's why you should hire me. But the story agent, see, the story agent's going to win. The story agent says, you know what? I'm glad you asked. You know, I recently helped a family just like yours. They were unsure of what their next steps were. They knew that they needed to hire an agent that they could trust because they'd hired other agents before, or they'd heard stories of people who hired agents who were non-communicative, had no marketing strategy, didn't know what to do. And ultimately, they not only lost time, but they also lost money. One couple in particular actually went as far as hiring other agents before they actually decided to hire me. And then ultimately, when that didn't work out for them, they did finally call me. We hired an appraiser. We came in with a strategy. I brought my staging consultation. I had them go through a staging consultation. We positioned it right. We priced it under market value. We got multiple offers. I got them $30,000 above, and we closed. You know, we just recently closed, and all of that happened in 6 days. So, which version do you, listeners, the audience, y'all, which version do you feel builds more trust? The top 5% agent who sold over 100 homes in the last 2 years? Or the one who has helped a family just like theirs going through a similar situation? It's obvious, right? The answer is obvious. The story sells. It's the story that sells. So let's go a little bit deeper, okay? Now, if you're thinking like, all right, this sounds really good, Mike, but where do I start? How do I begin positioning myself as this story selling agent? We're about to get into it, okay? There's 3 things that I want you guys to start doing. First, you're going to rewrite your bio using that founder story. You've got to really go back and talk about how you even got here. Why did you choose real estate? You know, why does it even matter to you? Number 2, replace one social media post this week with a customer story. Can you tell a story where your customer, your client was the hero? How did they win in this situation? Where it's not just all you. I got the award. I'm doing this and I'm, okay. How does that help me, the client that's looking at hiring you? I posted something on social media. Some of you guys might follow me already, but if you don't, you see my handle here, they Michael Collier. But I posted a reel yesterday. And I posted a reel that said 71% of buyers find their agents on social media. Guys, 7 out of 10 buyers have reported that they found their agent on social media. Some of y'all haven't posted today, let alone this week. And we're already in the middle of the week. But 7 out of 10 buyers. Now, you said that you want more business, right? All of y'all are here. I mean, type more in the comments if you want more business, if you want more money, you want to sell more houses, okay? more than 70% of y'all probably didn't post anything today, let alone this week. But 7 out of 10 buyers are finding their agent on social media. And who's winning? The story selling agent or the stat agent? The agent who shows just closed or the agent who shows how they went through the journey to close? That the agent that's telling how smart their clients were. Because not only did they choose them as their realtor, but they also listened to their advice. And as a result of choosing them and listening to their advice, they got exactly the house that they were looking for. They got $25,000 towards closing costs, and they customer story. And number 3 is practice storytelling in your listing presentations and your open house conversations. See, this is notes in action. When I teach classes, when I stand on stage and I'm talking to the audience, I always say, hey guys, I love that you're taking notes, but I really want you to take action. Don't just take notes, take action. So all of you who are listening to this right now, I know I'm stepping on some toes. I hope you're shifting in your seat a little bit. I hope you're saying to yourself and honest with yourself and saying, I can do better than that. I can do better than I'm doing right now. I'm calling you to a higher version of yourself today. Stats may impress, but it's the stories that connect. So here's the thing that most people overlook. These same stories work for more than just your clients. These are powerful tools for even attracting agents. Agents want to know how you got to where you are right now. Why did you choose where you chose? I know we have a lot of people from different brokerages on here. I personally am at eXp Realty. I can tell the story of what eXp has done for me. What this network, not the brokerage itself, but the network, the platform, the 6 streams of income that I receive as being an agent here, as opposed to other places. I can tell that story. And when agents see what you believe and why you believe and how you show up and how you serve, that story becomes magnetic. It becomes something that other people want to be a part of. They see themselves in your story. The question is, are you telling your story? And last thing on this, I'll say, I truly believe that your story is not for you. Your story is not for you. The story of the challenge that you went through as a kid, the heartbreak that you had in your marriage and divorce, the child that, whatever it was, the child that you lost, the poverty that you had, whatever your story is. And I'm not saying make up a story, right? We're talking about being authentic, not creating stories, but everybody has a story. The problem is we allow our ego to keep us from telling our stories. We're not vulnerable enough. But here's what the thing is. The victory is in the vulnerability. That's where it's at. That's where people are looking at you like, man, I see the challenge that you faced and I see how you came out of it. You got it out of the mud, and I appreciate that. That's the type of agent that I want to be with. That's the type of agent that I want to hold hands with, partner with, lock arms with. That's the type of agent that I want selling my house. Somebody who's not going to take no for an answer. They get kicked down, but they get right back up and say, what's up? That's the story. So let's go through some FAQs, some frequently asked questions, because I already know y'all have some questions. One of them I already talked about. What if I'm new or haven't done much business yet, Mike? I would tell you, borrow credibility and store stories. Here's a quote that I wrote. I said, I recently assisted a senior agent. This is you talking to to a prospect, right? And this is how you might respond. I recently assisted a senior agent on a listing where the sellers had inherited a home that they hadn't touched in over 20 years. We developed a prep plan. We used a pre-listing appraisal and ended up with multiple offers in a week. Watching that process taught me a valuable lesson that I now bring to every consultation. See, in this, you weren't the lead agent, but you were with a senior agent, a senior partner, maybe a teammate, and you still gained valuable insight and became part of the solution. so you can store that story and go and use that story. You don't have to be the hero of every story, but you do learn from the stories that you hear. Number 2, how do I tell a story without sounding cheesy or fake? Storytelling isn't about performance. This is about honesty. If it happened and it helped you grow, it's worth telling. So the pro tip is to use the 5-part framework that we talked about: the hook, the struggle, solution, success, and the shift. Right? And again, at the end of the day, like, you won't sound cheesy as long as you're authentic. Speak to your client like a human, not like, a pitch deck. Number 3, should I be using these stories on like social media or just in person? We talked a little bit about this earlier. The answer is both. Stories aren't just for listing appointments. This is your brand. Social media is your testing lab, so you should be using it to refine what stories land and what doesn't land. What are people resonating with? You don't need drama. You need relatability. That's what you need. Sometimes finding your dream, somebody who just found their dream home after losing hope, or somebody who had, tried offer after offer after offer on different homes, and they just were not getting their offer accepted, but you were the one that got them through it. Again, if you follow me on social, you'll see that I just posted today a testimonial video of a closing that we had just last week, and my seller was, she was a little down by how the market was. I mean, we listed our house and we tried a lot of things. And so how many of y'all know, like, sometimes everything you do is still not enough. Sometimes it just sits. The market is the market. What can you do other than keep going? And there were so many times that she wanted to quit, but she even says in the testimonial video, she says, Mike was my beacon. He was my light that kept me going. He kept me focused on the main thing being the main thing. And I kept reminding her of why she had decided to sell that house. And now that became her testimonial story. Number 4, how do I balance storytelling with data? Mike, I know you're saying I should tell stories, but is that to say that I shouldn't be talking about how good I am or whatever? Use the story to open the door and use data to close the deal. Right? But don't replace the data. Just reframe it with emotion first. So I'm not saying don't do some of the stuff that you're already doing. I'm saying connect emotionally first. Think about it this way. Stories create emotion, which creates relationship. And those relationships turn into transactions. Data is transactional. It's numbers, and it's cold, and it just turns into a transaction. And you don't want to be a transactional agent. You want to be a relational agent. Number 5, what if I don't have any dramatic stories? Listen, most stories aren't dramatic. They're human. You're not trying to win an Oscar here. You're trying to win trust. A moment of clarity at an inspection, a family getting keys, a buyer's aha moment. Like, those are all gold. Ordinary moments told with heart is greater than flashy results with no soul. All right, as often as possible. This. How often should I tell stories? You should have 3 to 5 core stories on standby. Think about it like your greatest hits, ready to drop in any meeting, consult, or social post. Right? Great brands are great at repeating powerful stories until people remember them. Think about those commercials that you see at Christmas. That Lexus commercial, right? You know the one. All y'all. As soon as I said that, everybody on this call knew exactly what commercial I'm talking about. When you think about that Lexus commercial at Christmas, what do you think? What do you see? That daggone red bow on top of that car. Every single time. They're not even talking about how great the engine is, how good it is on gas efficiency, gas mileage. And they're not talking about the stats and data. They're talking about the joy, the feeling that you get surprising somebody with a brand new Lexus, or the person being surprised, or the moments picking up that Christmas tree and putting it on top of that car, like whatever, right? That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And so I hope that this has been good for you. So what now? Start small, start with at least one story, but make it a good one. Figure out a story. Why? I think a great story for you to start with is your founder story, your value story. Remember, we talked about your customer story and your purpose story. You got to nail these. Remember, stats may impress, but stories connect. Now, before we wrap, I want to invite you guys to the next step. I'm launching something called the Leverage Lounge podcast. And this is a show where I interview top performing agents, high impact business owners and entrepreneurs, and talk about how they're scaling their business using leverage, using systems, capital, resources. One of the things that they have learned how to do is take these stories and actually use them to scale their business. And so I love stories and I love good storytelling. And so this podcast is going to allow me to pull some of these stories out and share them with you, my audience. And so if that's something that sounds like you need, sounds like something that you need where you want to learn how to scale your business, how to leverage like a boss and not stay as a small business owner, but you want to learn how to scale and learn from some of the best people in the world, those are the people I'm going to be interviewing. And so I invite you to subscribe. It's going to be launching at the end of this month, but I want you to be one of the first to find out about it. So scan there. You'll see it's going to be on Spotify. It'll be on Apple Podcasts, but it's also going to be on YouTube. So they'll be recorded. So it'll be a visual podcast. You'll see me probably with the same background, talking to people and really, really trying to share the game on how to scale. Most of us haven't been shown how to do this. Let's be honest. That's a large part of the reason why you're not where you want to be. You don't really know how to get there. Everybody wants to be a millionaire, and everybody would be a millionaire if they knew how to make $1 million. Reason why you're not a millionaire, because you don't know how to make $1 million. So you need to start learning how to do it. Much of it is just copy and paste, or like we like to say, R&D. Y'all know what R&D stands for? Rip off and duplicate. That's my time, y'all. Any questions? I don't know if I can't hear you. Are you on mute?
I must be on mute. Here we go. Can you hear me now?
Let's do it again. Yes, ma'am.
That was great, Michael. That was great. We're salespeople, right? But we don't have to be salesy. Being able to resonate with our audience and really tell an authentic story. I'm glad you said that, because one of my questions was for you is, so, what's the worst thing an agent can do in telling a story to a client to attract them?
Yeah, telling a lie, right? You're telling a lie because everything's easily searchable. There's no reason. You ain't got a lot to kick it, right? You can again store stories and leverage other people's stories. Leverage the story. Listen, we are at EXP. We're one big team, right? So we sell more homes than any other brokerage in the world, right? Like, that's a fact. Number one in transactions on both sides, listings and on the buying side, 2 years in a row, possibly 3. You can share that story. Even if you ain't sold a house yet, that's part of your story. So yeah.
That is true. We have to be authentic. Sometimes it's not all about, oh, we sold this, we sold that. Some things happen. A lot of things happen along the way with these transactions, right? So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm going to ask one more question. Well, here we go. How do you structure your video testimonies?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys go follow me at the Mike Collier. The Mike Collier is on the screen right here. Go follow me on Instagram, and you'll be able to see how some of my video testimonials come out. But you'll hear some of the stories through that and how I structure those questions, I usually ask no more than about 3 or 4 questions, and then my video editor will chop it up and make it work. But I typically will say, all right, so, hey, congratulations, you just sold your home. How does it feel? That's the first question I want. Why? Because I'm not just focusing on the fact that they sold their home. I want to talk about how they feel. Remember, we're talking emotion, right? And so the second question that I have is, so let's talk about it. I recap what brought them to that point where we are right now. Let's talk about it. You were renting a house. You weren't sure how you were going to be able to buy, and whatever it is, whatever that story is, I recap that, and then I allow them to share their version. My third question is typically, and so great, that's fantastic. I'm glad you guys reached out to me. How was it working with the Mike Collier home team? Why? Because I want them to say it with their own lips. That's better than a Google review, right? Don't get me wrong, still get your Google review, but a spoken video testimonial from the clients that you're closing with right now, yeah. And then lastly, I say, so sometimes I'll ask, so what's the first thing that you're going to cook inside of your brand new house, right? And then I'll throw in a bonus. All right, so you're going to be cooking that, and the question is, am I invited? And they usually laugh and they say, of course you're invited. And I say, all right, great, it's on video, so you can't take it back.
That's a good way of getting into the family for sure. Awesome. We had
you got it, right?
Yeah, I like that. We got another question. So Miss Allen is asking, do you have a set of stories ready to go for different situations?
Yes, I do actually. And they evolve, right? Because, the more deals I do, I really do like storing stories. So I have a number of stories that I like to tell. And sometimes they're not even directly real estate related. Sometimes people don't necessarily even need to hear what you did as an agent. Maybe it's something that you did in your previous life, whatever it was that you were doing before real estate. There's a number of stories that you can pull from, whether it's in your own family history or your relationships or whatever it is. But yeah, I keep a cache of stories.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, every scenario is going to be different. So you have to be able to resonate with the people, right? No matter what it is that they're going through. And being authentic with it, you guys. We have to be authentic. Please don't lie. I saw somebody putting that in the chat. You don't have to lie. Let's not do that. So what is one thing? What is one thing that you wish you had known, in the beginning of your real estate career regarding around doing storytelling instead of just selling and having scripts all the time?
You probably already know what I'm gonna say, because this is something that you and I were actually just talking about this week on the phone. Copying and pasting. I think, especially as I'm talking right now to the Black EXP network, and that doesn't mean that all of y'all are Black. That's okay, right? That's the whole point, right? But as I'm talking to the Black EXP network, primarily Black agents, I will say that we have this this unique ability to stand out. We pride ourselves on our cultural relativity. We pride ourselves on our unique presence and our statement pieces and I am lion, hear me roar type of thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. But here's where it can go wrong, and often does in business. We want to be like Frank Sinatra. We want to do it my way. I did it my way. We want to be able to arrive at that success line, that success finish line, and be able to say, I ain't have to copy nobody. I did it my way, and they tried to tell me, and I did it. Let me tell y'all something. The people who are at the top did the R&D method. Rip off and duplicate. If you are talking to someone who has a bigger business than you do, or is where you want to be, and they tell you what they did, then do it. Copy and paste. There's no award for you doing it your way. There are awards for success, There is financial freedom. There is time freedom in gaining the leverage that and taking the learning curves and shortening that learning curve, I should say. Copy and paste. That's what I would say. And as soon as, and one bonus one I would say is, as soon as you possibly can, get you a coach, because your coach, that's what they do. They shorten the journey from A to Z. They'll shorten that almost in half for you.
And to your point, it's about working smarter, not harder. So if there's somebody that you see that has done it successfully, just follow their lead. Follow their lead and put your own little sprinkling on it, own little seasoning on it, right? To make it your own, but don't try to reinvent the wheel and create a whole new blueprint. No, follow their blueprint because it works, right?
One of the ladies that I'm going to have on the Leverage Lounge podcast, she's one of the business owners that I'm going to be interviewing in one of the episodes. You will see she and her husband own multiple McDonald's franchises. Okay. Now you guys know you got to have $1 million in cash, liquid cash, in order to even have one McDonald's franchise. She owns multiple. She also has multiple nonprofit organizations. She's working with HBCUs to teach them the McDonald's way of business. And when she was asked why McDonald's, she said, because they have a proven, repeatable system. You don't have to try to create your own wheel when you own a McDonald's. Why? Because they want you to do it their way. It ain't Burger King. You can have it your way. No. McDonald's said, you're going to do it our way. And you're going to make money in the process. So if you don't copy and paste, you are considered unsuccessful in that business model. That's why they're succeeding. And that's what they're going out and teaching these HBCU students. So the question is, when will you learn?
Right now, you gave us the strategy of what to do. And it's very simple. It's starting with your clients giving testimonies about their journey working with you, being authentic about, how did you get into this business? What makes you tick to want to be able to support people with their real estate journey? Just be authentic, and you resonated with me so much with this because, my presence on social media, I'm like, I want to do more of that, not just sold. No. I don't think I've posted a just sold, just listed, and Lord knows how long. There's got to be more meat on the bone for me than that. So thank you for that, Michael. I mean, you are being loved in this chat for sure. What does this say here? If you are,
I don't know, because I can't see it.
Yeah. Okay, it's like preparing for an interview. Don't say what you're going to do. Talk about what you've done.
Come on now.
Yes,
come on now. And another thing, but so with that, Rachel, because I love that, even in one of the problems that we do with interviews, when we were interviewing for jobs, was that we were speaking in generalities, but we weren't telling the whole story. It's like, I used to do X, Y, Z versus I did this many of X's, I did this many of Y's, and I did this many of Z's in this amount of time, allowing our company to turn a profit of this amount to, you know what I mean? Like, how did you impact the difference? And so that's where the story and the data marry each other.
Yep, very true. I see somebody put in the chat, how long should our updated bio be?
I guess it depends on where you are posting it. It doesn't need to be long. It should be intriguing enough to make people ask questions and want to lean in to know more about you. Your bio doesn't need to tell every single thing along the way, but it should say, tell me a little bit more about that. When I mentioned that I worked at Disney for 12 years, if I say nothing else, people go, so what'd you do at Disney? Right? It's enough for them to lean in to engage conversation. Right? It's marketing yourself. It's learning how to market yourself. You are the brand.
All right. Our last question is, somebody wants to know about your coaching program. How do they access that?
Yes. So Yes. So reach out to me on Instagram. You can reach out to me, DM me, let me know that you are interested. We can have that one-off conversation because it depends on where you are and what you need, right? I tell people all the time, I am not your Google, right? So, I'm not the one that you're going to call for every single question, every single thing. I'd rather show you how to do it. I tell people all the time, and my group knows because some of them are on this call. I say, I am willing to push you across the finish line, but I am not willing to pull you across the finish line. My coaching style is just a little bit different. I want for you to want to do the work, right? But if you're willing to do the work, man, let's run. Let's go, right? I want to champion your success. I don't want your success more than you want it. And so there's a little bit of a process where we're going to have a conversation. But yeah, reach out to me. Be happy to help.
Yes, that's great. You teach a man how to fish, right? You can't just always
Bingo.
give it to them. Teach them how to fish. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink. All of those sayings apply for that right now. And sometimes people need a coach like that. I do. That's for sure. Like that.
Yeah, accountability. It's the reason why most of us show up to the gym, because you know that your trainer is going to come find you. I started a virtual assistant placement company. And so I help agents and business owners and nonprofit organizations hire virtual assistants, and the biggest reason is because it's like, I can tell you what to do, but at the end of the day, if you're going to be a successful business owner, you cannot be the CEO, the cashier, and the janitor of your business all at the same daggone time. You cannot do it. Leverage is key to scalability. And so there are things that you might need to leverage out. And maybe you're not there in your business right now. So for some of you guys who are listening, but there are some of you who are well past that point, and you should have given it up a long time ago, but you have this control problem. I personally have 3 virtual assistants, and they manage a lot of my business. So if you guys want to talk about that, if any of you want to talk about that, reach out to me, mention the VAs, and we can talk about that. But yeah, listen, I'm here. I'm here to help. I'm building businesses to help more people help themselves and attain the freedom that they say that they want, but they're working themselves into a prison as opposed to working their way towards freedom. And so I don't want you building a prison for yourself in the way that you're working, trying to do it all yourself, because that's a recipe for disaster.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. Thank you. Any other questions? You can go ahead and put it in the chat. You can see that Michael has so much information that he can give us. I mean, he has dropped some serious gems today on this call. I hope you guys are taking notes. I hope that you start implementing this in your business ASAP. It's very simple to create a story. It is very simple to post it on social media. Guess what, you guys? It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it out there. It's all about visibility. And Michael made a great point. I've got to say, it's absolutely true. I've gotten a lot of my business from social media and just posting on social media. People find me however way that they do, but it really does work. And you have to be visible on social media and know how to stand out from the rest of the crowd. There's so many realtors out here. What are you going to do with your social media post to be able to stand out, right? We've gone through a lot of training here at Black EXP Network, and we've gone over what to do, how to use AI, things that you could post to your social media. So Michael is just giving us another phenomenal gem, as I could see. So thank you so much, Michael, for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
We are so grateful to have you. I have learned something from the master. Thank you so much. And they love you here for sure. So I'm pretty sure your DMs are going to be lit.
I'll at you, boy.
Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us today. Now let's give Michael a huge thank you in the chat. Let him know, show him all the loves that you got for him, all the blessings, because he's going to give you guys some gems. And let's drop into his upcoming podcast. That is for sure. What day did you say that was launching, Michael?
It's going to be sometime at the end of this month. I got some travel coming up, so I'm trying to figure out the launch dates. But right now, I'm just putting some episodes, pre-recording some episodes now, so I can have them ready to go, because it's going to be a weekly release. So every week I'll be releasing a new episode. But that's
Nice.
the Leverage Lounge podcast.
The Leverage Lounge podcast. Make sure you guys tap into that as soon as it drops. Let's support this guy right here for sure. You got so many thank yous in the chat. You got that. This was empowering. Like, you did a great thing here. I am so grateful for you, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all are awesome. I appreciate it. Hey, let's keep on helping each other. Keep on growing, right? Each one teach one, all that good stuff. But truly grow with the intention of wanting to help other people. Yeah, you're gonna help. You want to help yourself. Yeah, you want to be number one. Yeah, you want to make X amount of dollars. But why? Who are you going to help in the process? And here's the thing: you don't have to wait until you get there, because there is no actual finish line. It's the journey. And so you're on this journey, man. We're all on this journey together. So help people along the journey. I'm gonna keep on going if you let me. So don't let me.
No, that was
that's a whole nother thing I was about to start talking about.
Who are you going to touch on this journey, and how are you going to touch their heart, not just a transaction and push them to the side like paperwork? These are real people's lives that we're dealing with here. So it's so important for us to just really resonate with them as much as we can, for sure.
Yeah. Good.
So awesome. Blackie EXP
Well, I don't know
Network.
what time we end, so
We're ending now. We are. I'm wrapping us up right now.
All right.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much, Michael. So Blackie EXP Network, I am pumped. My social media is about to be cranking out some stories left and right. And I hope you guys do the same, because we really got to keep on getting out there, face our fears, just keep pushing through and be authentic. Be your authentic self. You guys found out last time that I am a straight introvert and I don't like being on camera, but I show up every month for you guys here at Tribe Training. And I'm going to continue to show up and get out of my comfort zone to be in front of this audience. So I just want to say thank you, everyone. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you share the link. Listen, this training is for all agents. It's not just for agents here at EXP Network. We are global, basically. So if you know any agents in any state, even international, share the link. This information can be spread amongst all of us here. And thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Hello. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Ciao for now.